Bonjour everyone, Pantoufleee here today for a new video in which we have the pleasure of talking about another tier 10 collectible, or premium I should say, tank that is hitting the shop right now on Friday, aka the WZ121B, a Chinese tier 10 medium. The first thing I want you to understand about this offer is that it's a single one and you only have one chance out of 4 to get the tank, because when you read the in-shop section it tells you get the 121B with a 25% drop chance or 8.5k gold for a total price of 25 euros. If you take a look at what you can get in gold in the shop, you see that it's the exact same price as the gold offer, but here you have a chance to get the WZ. So if you're looking forward to get yourself either 8.5k gold or the WZ, this offer is definitely for you. Now, something you need to understand about this is that the tank you're seeing right now is definitely not one of the greatest performers at tier 10, especially when it comes to premium, and especially when we had the Chieftain MK6 in the shop 1 week earlier. But still, we are going to review it for those of you curious that would still want to buy that tank. The first thing to notice is possibly the gun. The gun is really nice on this one. I truly love it because that tank went through several stages and several buffs to make it powered enough to compete with other mediums of the same tier. And to do that, Wargaming reduced the dispersion, as you can see, 0.31, which is a really good one, and on top of that the DPM that increased to nearly 3.2k damage. The reload time is 6.6 seconds for an alpha damage of 350. When you're taking a look at this tank and how you want to play it, you don't want necessarily to use anything else than calibrated shell, and that's why here my average penetration is really good, 257 with my regular and 330 with my heat shell, which will make me be able to penetrate quite easily E100 turrets and all those kind of juicy spots you get when you encounter things in all down. And this is something you really need to get. For the rest, for the armor profile, that's where this tank is interesting. You have a strong turret. Not the best, because when you take a look at those two sides here, you can get penetrated, especially with gold shell. But in the heat of the battle, if you move a lot, etc., you're going to see that the turret is quite strong and you will be able to rely on it to bounce. For the rest, and that's where things are getting a little bit shitty, when it comes to the gun depression, you only have 6 degrees, which is not enough to be versatile on pretty much every single terrain. But we all know the Chinese mediums and Chinese tanks in general, they are not meant to have a lot of gun depression. And finally, for the engine, that went from, if I remember correctly, before it could go only to 50 kilometers per hour, so the 121B was really slow compared to other mediums, but Wargaming decided to buff it, and now you can go to 56. It still lacks a little bit of speed comparing it to the T62A or the Leopard 1, etc, etc, but it still does the job and will allow you to get in time in position. Now, how am I equipping my tank? As I already told you, calibrated shell to be able to penetrate juicy 100 turrets. After enhanced gun, laying drive to reduce my aim time. To finish off with vertical stabilizer to reduce my aiming time is even more, because 0.31 of gun dispersion is way enough for me. After I go for the defense system, because I'm not going to ram anybody. Improved assembly, because yes, you have enough armor on the turret, but not enough to bounce gold shells, so I would rather have more hit points. Toolbox, because an strike is useless. Improved optics, because I'm going to spot for myself. Engine accelerator, because my mobility has to be a little bit increased to be competitive with other mediums of the same tier. And to finish off with high-end consumable, to use adrenaline for a longer period of time for those squishy times where you're going to try to push your opponents. That's it. Now let's take a look at the tank in battle. When it comes to the playstyle, guys, there are several things you need to understand. The first is, as I told you, you have a strong turret, which implies that with this tank you want to take all down positions, but you also have 2 cupolas, as you can see on the tank. And the thing is, with those 2 cupolas, you really need to be careful. If you stay in front of your opponents immobile, and if they have good gun dispersion, they will be able to penetrate you. So what you want to do, as you have a great accuracy, is finding an all down position, but never stay in place. Always try to move to prevent your opponents from being able to penetrate you. And this is what we're going to try right now. It seems like they decided to go in the town, so in no time I'm going to decide to go there as well. Not necessarily into the town because it's not suitable for 1-to-1B because I'll have to side scrape, and that tank really sucks at side scraping. But rather try to find on the bottom of the line between the big field and the town. Try to stay here and maybe prevent the E100 from being able to push. I took a shot from the Leo one of the greatest accuracy in the game, that's why I took it. And now you're gonna see why it's important to use calibrated shell with this tank. If I was not using calibrated right now, I wouldn't be able to penetrate the E100. But here, thanks to my juicy gold penetration and thanks to this part of equipment, I'm gonna be able to do a lot of damage on that E100. And seriously, you can pray for that guy in the comments because I'm about to completely ruin his career, or at least his game right there. So there we go, 1.2k damage on that poor E100 already, and it's not gonna stop. Calibrated shell in the nutshell, it will really allow you to do the job. So as you can see, not trying anything, not trying to take an advanced position, to circle, to push. You are not here to do that, and here in the current state of the game, it's literally impossible for you to do that, because if you try that, well, I'm probably going to be killed by the Leo 1 and the other E100 and the Grill 15 in the back, so I would rather try to take a position from here. An interesting thing to notice here, as I told you, you can get penetrated in your cupolas, so really be careful about that when you are using that tank, and always try to move a little bit around and never stay in place if you want to avoid getting penetrated. But the real question is the 1-to-1B a good tank? Back in the days, it was one of the most horrific and tremendously bad tank in the game ever, literally ever. The first time it was released, it was pain in the ass, and it was released in crates the first time. Nowadays, I feel like Wargaming buffed it the right way and it's competitive. But if you have in your garage a T22 medium, an AMX 30B, or even an M60, you don't want to have this one. You don't need it, and truly it's not worth it. Because when you take a look at the Tech Tree version, it does everything this one does, but in a better way. So if you want an interesting thing to get the Tech Tree version, which is way better. So yeah, in the end, that tank will always live in the shadow of its Tech Tree brother, the WZ 1-to-1, that here is really a special tank, but on top of that, a really nice one to play with. So that's it. That was my overall sum up of that tank, but we're still gonna go into the game. As you can see, there is the 100 that just shot. That's why I decided to push in. And once again, the calibrated shell that are gonna save us 1 or 2 shots in a row. There is the 100. Are we gonna be able to bounce him? What I'm gonna try right now is sneaking my shot and going back in retreat as soon as possible. It worked because the 100 missed me, and that's what I talked about in the beginning of the video. You have cupolas, so in order for you not to get penetrated, you need to move always showing your turret, but always being in movement. There we go. Now we only have to deal with a Grill 15. We are in a 1 versus 1 situation, but I'm behind him, so that's good. And here I did a mistake because I tunneled and I completely forgot about the rock, but don't worry, it's not gonna be a problem. We sneak an 80 shot on the Grill 15. He's a 1 shot and I still have time to reload before him. I reload, I sneak my shot, I get my 4 kills, and we win the game. This is it, 5.6k damage, and you're gonna see a juicy ace tanker. That's pretty much how you want to play your WZ1-to-1B for those of you out there that still want to buy it. Maybe one final thing to discuss about the tank, how horrible the legendary camouflage is. That just looks shit. I mean, the tank without it looks cool, to be fair, but it looks like when you put that legendary camouflage, it's all of a sudden the tank is downgraded, graphically talking. I don't know, I really don't like it. It looks like a Hot Wheel stuff or something, or a redneck camo. I don't like it, but still, this is only my opinion, and maybe you will love the camo. Hopefully you enjoyed, guys. If that's the case, feel free to subscribe, like, and share, and I'm gonna see you soon for a new video. Bye.